so caffeine is coming soon. But so show of hands of everyone who has talked about data, mentioned data, used data, heard about data in the past week. Should be everyone, based on just this morning's presentations. I think we can all agree that data is everywhere. Everyone has data, which makes it a little less interesting. What becomes really interesting, though, is when you use that in different ways. Cue artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is changing the game of advertising, quite frankly. The advances in technology are allowing us to do things that are much, much more exciting and creating a lot of efficiencies. But artificial intelligence hasn't been a new thing. It's actually been around for almost 70 years now, and the auto industry has been actually one of the very first early adopters of it. But bear with me through a little history. So nearly 70 years ago, the very first AI program was created, kind of a homage to Arkadium's gaming background. It was built to understand checkers and chess. So as a community, we thought, if we can do it with games, can we also use it for math? Can we use it for English? And we can. And then when I was actually only a year old, Germans built the very first robotic car that could actually go up to 35 miles or 55 miles an hour, which is super later, but we got there too. And we actually created our own first that drove across the US. And then, typical fashion, NASA and Google also had to get involved. But fast forward to last year, when the very first language program was created that actually beat humans in understanding at reading and comprehension. And comprehension, I'll say it again because that's the part that is most exciting. And that's the part that I think we grew up and it said, don't worry about robots. You always have a job. They don't have the sentiment. They can't comprehend things. Turns out they can. But why that's a good thing is because it's impacted advertising in a very exciting way. So let's take a look then at how some of the players in the space have done it. So Lexus actually last year launched the very first commercial that was fully scripted by AI. And it's very exciting because the way that they did it is they partnered with Watson's IBM to look at over 15 years of data and video and audio and understood then what was exciting about those different commercials and different tidbits they'd already created, what people responded to, and what people liked. And from that, fully scripted a brand new commercial. And if you haven't seen it, it kind of plays on the heartstrings of almost like your child going away to college and then maybe getting kidnapped and coming back, but all in a very fun and exciting automotive way. And it touched individuals, and it was able to pull in the sentiment that a consumer would want to see, right? So very different way of thinking about things. And then let's look at Toyota. They used AI and also IBM's Watson technology to create 300 different personalized videos in a very short amount of time. And what they did is they asked IBM, they said, I want to look at all these different types of activities, and I want you to pair it with ones that don't typically go together. So if you take a look, you'll see it's marathon and luge, which you wouldn't necessarily think go together, but for an athletic person, it spits out a recommendation of what they could do that you see here. The benefit of this, then, is that it is very much personalized to every single type of person that could be viewing their ad, which if you think in typical terms, that would take the normal person a very, very long time to do. So why is artificial intelligence so exciting? It does things that we can't do, right? Robots can work through the night, so I need to get my beauty rest very much every night, 7 hours. It can be doing things for us. It also creates efficiencies. It adds those algorithms, those trends, and it identifies them that honestly I would probably never get to, right? And it's actually predicted that by 2025, over 44 billion specific to the auto industry is going to be in savings just from the efficiencies of AI, which is exciting. So at Arkadium, we were built on a gaming studio, but what we realized as a company that we do really well is engagements. So our newer product, Inhabit, is AI-led experience that is tailored to each and every individual. So You're looking at an article right here about the Chiefs and Mahomes. Our technology is a line of code then that takes that piece of article and understands what is on it. The AI piece of it is that it understands sentiment. It's not enough to just say that it's about the Chiefs or the ratings or that it's about football. We need to understand if it's a positive article, right? From that, in real time then, it takes into account our database of sports data and analyzes the article and then says, what's the most engaging and relevant experience that this consumer would want? And it pulls it then directly into the article itself. So you can see here then, it pulls in Mahomes and it wants to know, where is he the most dangerous? As a consumer, you're already reading about the Chiefs, so why wouldn't you be like, let me see if I actually know where he's got the most touchdowns. And we've actually seen consumers then will repeat this experience with different football players or different sports. Could have been the Masters and Tiger Woods, would have been a little more relevant right now. But they're playing with it over 3 different times because it's relevant to them. From an advertising perspective then, that's where you want to be around. You want to be somewhere within content that is impactful and important to the consumer, that they associate your brand with it. So in this article, you can see, or this experience, that it's actually a car example where it could be driving to a dealership, but it could also be lead gen. It could be any of the KPIs that you would want it to be, but it's that environment that you want to be around. The other piece, right, we've talked a lot about data, is that AI allows us to populate very different experiences for each consumer. So specific, if we were looking at NBA, there's over 11,000 different factives that a consumer could experience based on what they're reading. And with our current partnership with Sportradar, we support a variety of leagues, both US, internationally, NFL, MLB, but we have even more potential to do outside leagues that may not be here, but these are the ones that we focused on. And obviously, I think the factive is very cool. I think it's engaging, consumers do. But the reason that it becomes very impactful, both from a consumer and advertising perspective, is that it's not simply an ad unit within the page, right? It's actually a piece of integrated content that's put into it, so it's not affected by ad blockers. It's 100% fraud-free because there is not a way for a bot to find it. Maybe in the future they will be, but right now they cannot. And then on the advertising side, we see 9% click-through rates. Consumers are engaging with it almost 30 seconds. And 90% in target engagement. So it really does, from an advertising perspective, what you want it to do outside of your typical banner or video. So I will challenge all of you, from that $44 billion that you could actually save in efficiencies by 2025, what are you doing today with AI? And if you're not doing it, you really should be, and maybe it's with Arkadium. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amber, and thanks to Arkadium that's going to sponsor our coffee break, which starts right now. You can go out we'll take about 15, 20 minutes to do coffee. When we come back, we're going to talk to one of the most interesting disruptors in the market, Rivian. So please grab some coffee. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.